G'day folks. So I watched the trailer to Tarantino's new movie, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think it comes out in like July, so it's not that far off. But the first full trailer just came out today. And what I think of it, it was interesting. Like I'm a fan of Tarantino's movies, pretty much all of them. I love the quick dialogue. It always sort of feels a bit natural, his dialogue, especially in like Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs and all that. So I've always enjoyed that. His movies are just sort of, you know, they're sort of a bit offbeat, a bit quirky, but always interesting. Always interesting, even when the plot's not linear. First time I watched Pulp Fiction, hated it. I thought, what's this non-chronological bullshit? How can you follow a story like this? And then I kept rewatching it, and it just grew on me, because each scene, even though it wasn't chronological, I was like, man, these scenes are really well written and really entertaining. So anyway, that aside, this new trailer, what do I think? Great cast to begin with. Dicaprio, Pitt, Margot, Robbie, fellow Aussie. Who else was in it? Some guy that looks like the clone of bloody young Bruce Lee. Like, instead of CGIing him, which they can do nowadays, although it still looks a tad phony, they got an actual real guy who looks just like Bruce Lee, and he does a real good impression of him too. You don't see him much in this trailer, but he was in the initial teaser, and actually he said a few lines of dialogue there and sounded just like young Brucey. But who else was in it? Al Pacino's in it. I believe Luke Perry in his final role, God rest his soul. He seemed like a nice bloke, Mr. Perry. And there's an Aussie guy playing young Charles Manson as well. I can't remember the actor's name, but it looked pretty good. You know, I must say, it looked pretty good. Now, the trailer didn't have like heaps of the, you know, quick witty dialogue and all that stuff that Tarantino's movies are synonymous for, but I think they're saving that for the actual movie. There was one or two, you know, lines in there to sort of, you know, pique our interest, and it did that for me. I'm definitely going to watch it at the cinema. It's not a movie I can wait for it to come out on, you know, home release. So I'll definitely be there to watch it. It looks interesting. It's set, you know, these two sort of quirky characters, Dicaprio and Brad Pitt as actor and stuntman, and they somehow get caught up, or their sort of storyline runs parallel to the Tate LaBianca murders. Actually, I don't know if the LaBianca murders are going to be in the film, but the Tate murder seems like look, I kind of hope it's not, because it's such a horrible thing that happened to Sharon Tate. I mean, the poor girl was pregnant and they murdered her, which is just pure evil. I really don't want to see that on film, a pregnant woman being hurt. But, you know, these things did happen, and if it is shown on film, I hope it's, you know, not overly gratuitous, because that will be really disturbing. And trust me, I'm pretty much, you know, I've seen a lot of violent movies, so not too much bothers me. But when it comes to, you know, pregnant women and children, as many movies as I've seen with extreme violence, I still can't be desensitized to that. It still bothers me, and I think it should. It's natural that it does. It should bother us. So that aside, I think the movie could be good. Hopefully the film is a little bit darker to match the actual events that it's portraying. I hope it's, you know, not too light-hearted and make light of what happened to that poor woman and her friends. But we'll see. Tarantino has a knack for being able to, you know, pull rabbits out of his hat. So we'll see what he does. His movies have always been entertaining, even when they have had, you know, a dark nature to them. And we'll see. We'll see. Can he continue his run of quality? Time will tell. And there won't be much time to wait until this movie actually does come out. I mean, it's just around the corner, and there hasn't really been much marketing for it, to be honest. What, there's been one teaser trailer, what, about a month ago, and now this full trailer, and that's about it. I haven't seen any TV spots or anything. I mean, not that a movie, you know, about this topic and actual event, you know, I mean, how would you advertise that anyway? And the movie seems to be like a light-hearted comedy that revolves around this horrific event. So, you know, how do you market a movie that, you know, seems to, I was going to say make light of, but I don't know if it makes light of what happened to Sharon Tate and her unborn child. But so hopefully it doesn't make light of that. I doubt it will. I mean, surely Tarantino knows how in poor taste that would be. I mean, his movies are extremely violent, and, you know, I'm not saying violence against you know, anyone is, you know, to be made light of, but it's for the purpose of the plot in his movies, you know, to move the plot forward. You know, there is evil in the world, and you can depict that in film. It's just about how do you go about depicting something as horrific as what was happened to Sharon Tate. And, you know, I guess they did it in the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones. You know, there was a pregnant woman that was stabbed in that, and that was horrible. I hate even thinking about that. But, you know, they showed that, and, you know, it wasn't made light of, though. That's the thing. It was treated with a lot of weight and seriousness, and it was treated as a horrific, despicable, evil act. So hopefully, you know, this movie can be lighthearted and all that, but when it comes to that, the movie's going to have to turn real serious. Otherwise, it's going to really feel disjointed to have, you know, something that bad in the middle of a movie where these two guys are just cracking wise, and, you know, you got a Bruce Lee impersonator, mind you, does an amazing job based on the trailer, you know, saying funny lines, and, you know, kung fu chopping everybody with nunchucks and that. So it could be a disaster, this movie. I don't know. Now that the more I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking, based on the way, you know, he said it in '69, and it's got the Spahn Ranch, and it's got the, you know, potentially the Tate murders in it, and he's playing it off as like a you know, a buddy comedy. I don't know. Maybe it's just the trailer. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I hope the movie, you know, doesn't make light of what happened to her and her friends, because it was horrible. But I can understand, you know, you can show these horrific things on film. They just need to be treated with the weight and the evil that they were, and not glorified or made light of. And I doubt he will do that. I mean, I don't think he's lost his mind completely yet, you know. The guy's still got many years to go in Hollywood, and I doubt he wants to give up his, you know, supply of you know, access to the industry, because the guy can pretty much get anything done he wants with no questions asked. So I doubt he wants to give that up by making a movie that is universally decried or hated. So anyway, I don't want to rant too much about just the trailer. You know, maybe I'll save that for when the movie actually comes out. But I am looking forward to a new Tarantino movie, as I would in any case when he makes a new film. I just hope he treats this issue correctly, and that's about it. Check out the trailer, folks, and that's about all I have to say at the time being. All right, please like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments if you are so inclined. God bless, and I'll see you later.